Sorry, folks, I can't play this whole song. I'll have YouTube crawling up my ass with a fine-tooth comb, telling me that I'm using copyrighted material. So I better not. I do like that song, though. That's the Presidents of the United States of America. A bunch of old guys, playing instruments and stuff. And they were pretty cool back in the day. They did that song Peaches, and they did one called Little Blue Dune Buggy. That was a good one. Anyway, what the fuck's up, y'all? So I know I'm like really late today. I decided to work 10 hours today. It's been a while since I've done that, but I really need the money. I make a pretty decent amount of money, but the overtime will really help me a lot. That's right. I got one viewer. Hey viewer, what's happening? Yeah, I'm running a little late today. Sorry. Well, that must not be one of my regulars. Yeah, that's probably my one that comes and checks on me every day and drops out. They're here usually 5 or 10 seconds and then they're out. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe I'm not purdy enough, or maybe I'm not talking about the right things. I don't know. Anyway, it don't matter. Oh boy, what a day. Man, 10 hours is a long time. I haven't done this since, let's see, the end of March, I think was the last day I worked 10 hours. I've been working 9-hour shifts for the last couple of weeks. Actually, since I've been back from vacation, I've worked a couple of 9s. I worked 9 hours all week last week, except for Friday, because I was off Friday. But, So I'll be working 10-hour shifts this week. So on Wednesday, you'll get a video probably around this same time, or live shoot, or whatever they call it, live feed. And then Friday, I'll be doing a live feed probably around the same time. I won't be doing one Thursday. I might shoot some video. I'm going to a concert Thursday, so I may be able to shoot some video. I'm going to see Collective Soul over at Riverport. Well, it's Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. It used to be the Riverport Palladium or something like that, but they changed the name a few years back. And it was, now it's called Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Yeah. So anyway, it's Collective Soul live, and I forget the other band that's going to be playing. Somebody that was pretty popular back in the 90s. Was it Seven Mary 3? No, that's not it. Anyway, it's got a 3 in the title of the album, of the band. 3 Days Grace, that's it. So it's going to be Collective Soul, 3 Days Grace, and live. Now I don't know. I guess Collective Soul is going to be the main attraction or the headliner, and then you'll probably have 3 Days Grace will probably open up, the whole show. But it seems to me there was like one more person. I think usually in St. Louis they try to get somebody that's like local but popular to do like the very first set. They only do like 4 or 5 songs, and then it's on to somebody else. But live ought to be good. I was supposed to see live back in like 2016, 17. No, it was earlier than that. Anyway, I ended up leaving early from the concert. I didn't stay for live. I wanted to, but I didn't. And I really like them a whole lot. Most of their stuff anyway is pretty decent. We got 2 people in here. You guys do me a favor, like my video, please. I don't require people to do it, but it would be nice if you help me out a little bit. Boost my confidence, maybe, or my ego, whichever one, whichever one you feel like I have. Anyway, man, what a day. Excuse me, working class. I hope I don't get you guys out there in video land to start yawning. I didn't sleep very well last night. I think I went to bed at like right at 10 o'clock last night. I think I opened my eyes at like 1:15 or something like that. And I thought to myself, damn, I sure don't have to get up for a long time, but I woke up a few more times before my alarm actually went off. It was like it was like 4:06 or something like that when my eyes opened and I couldn't go back to sleep. But it's funny how that happens because, like, you know, on the weekends I'm able to sleep in late, but during the week I've got this, like, I don't know, it must be like an old man's time clock or something. I don't know what the hell it is. I used to couldn't understand why people would get up, like especially retired people. You know, they would get up like hours and hours before the sun, you know, and they're like, oh, you know, I'm retired now, I got so much to do, and then they sit around and do nothing all day. But they still get up early. That's what bugs me. Like on the weekends, I don't drag my happy ass out of bed on the weekends until probably 8 or 9 o'clock. Of course, now I'm generally up pretty late, so that probably explains it. Anyway. Huh. I got another viewer. I bet you I've had probably 10 people come and go in the last, let's see, I've been on 7 minutes. I've seen a lot of people come and go already. But that's all right. At least I'm getting hits on my channel. Even if people are only stopping for a minute. Doesn't really do anything for me because I'm not getting paid for this, and I really don't care to. It's just really nice to see people respond. You know, it's especially when you know, when I'm talking about something important, people have questions or comments or anything like that. But I can see that nobody's had any comments or questions yet. Usually, my daughter gets on here to see me. We don't really talk on the phone or anything, so she waits till I'm on the here to say hello and stuff. She's my moderator. Whew. Whew. Man, speaking of live, there's a live song right there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this concert. I'm really hoping it doesn't rain, though. They've been calling for rain all week. And it did rain yesterday. Now, it hasn't rained at all today. So I'm hoping maybe that the weatherman or the almanac got it wrong this time. Because I don't want to be sitting. Well, we're not in the lawn. We're actually underneath the pavilion roof, but you know, I'm worried about the walk to and from the car. If it's raining, that's going to be for a miserable time. So I went to see Iron Maiden back in, I don't know, it was probably 2016, 15 or 16, somewhere in there. Went to Indianapolis to see them. And it was raining. It didn't start raining until we actually got inside of the amphitheater. And Alice Cooper was playing, and it started raining sideways, so they stopped the show. And then like everybody moved towards the center, and even moving towards the center, I still got freaking drenched. But God, that was so miserable being, you know, drenched the whole time the concert's going on. But anyway, so I just hope this Thursday, you know, when I'm at this concert, that it doesn't, I don't get, if I do get wet, I don't want to get real wet, you know. But we'll see. Ought to be a pretty good show, though. I've never seen Collective Soul. I I'm not a huge fan of their music. My girl is. She loves them. I think she's bought every CD they have now that we're going to their concerts. She's bought everything. Wouldn't surprise me none if she were to cheat herself out of a surprise and get the set list for the show. God knows she's done that before. Excuse me. Whew. Tired. A long day out in the heat. Well, it wasn't too bad today. It was warm, but it wasn't extremely hot. I think it got up to like 82 today. With a slight breeze, it makes for a little bit better day. You know. Somebody going by on a motorcycle. No helmet. I don't understand it. How do people drive on motorcycles with no helmet on? I mean, you know, like I have a full face mask on my helmet when I ride. And I've been going, 70, 80 miles an hour and had a freaking bug hit me square in the middle of the chest, and it hurt like hell. Can you imagine what it would be like hitting that same bug at 60 to 70 miles an hour in the face or in the forehead or something? Man, that would be awful, wouldn't it? Wow. That's crazy. Anyway. It's going to be happening tonight from the site of the All-Star game, which is tomorrow. It's in Atlanta. The home of the Braves. And it's happening in Got 5 people watching me today so far. Actually, I've had a big bunch of people come and go, and they never say anything or ask me any questions or make any comments. I will give you a shout out though. If you type something in there in the bottom and I see your name, I'll give you a shout out. It won't cost you anything. It only takes a second. You know, a lot of people, they want you to give like a thumbs up or subscribe. I don't do that. There's Courtney Love. Oh, she's a wild one. No, Courtney Love. That's Kurt Cobain's wife or whatever when he was still alive. A lot of people say that had something to do with Kurt Cobain dying, but without being able to prove it, I can't say that. We got somebody comment. Let me see what's going on here. Put my other glasses on so I can see what the hell. Mario, what's happening? What does my shirt say? The shirt says Raven Black. I don't know if you know who they are or not. They're a band that they're out of Ohio now. They used to be out of Michigan, up near Detroit, and then they were out of Los Angeles, California. They moved out there for a little while, and now they live in Ohio. But Raven Black, if you get a chance to see those guys and girls, the Raven is a singer, songwriter, composer. She's a lyrical genius, needless to say. And she does some of that screamo stuff. Really good music. Yeah, it's metal. It's kind of fun metal, it's what they call the Dark Carnival, something like that. They were on tour with, or not were on tour, they did a show at a Juggalo festival a few years ago. But Raven's a really cool lady. She doesn't shy away from her fans, things like that. She's got a heart of gold, that woman, I can tell you. But she puts on a pretty good show. The whole band does. You know, they wear makeup and stuff like that. If you get a chance, Raven Black. The first song I ever heard was a song called Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars, where she kind of takes, like kids' nursery rhymes, a couple of them, and turned them into songs. Her newest album, they have one called Little Piggy on it, and it's a pretty thrashing song. That album is going to come out in, let's see, September, I believe, is when she's releasing it. There's some stuff on Spotify right now that they've done, Raven Black. They've actually got quite a few songs on Spotify right now. But if you listen, if you're a metalhead like I am, I'm sure you'll like it, for sure. Well, this is Raven right here. And her husband is the drummer. Call him Muppet. And then there's, let's see, what's the girl's name? They got a girl on guitar and a girl on bass. I don't remember their names though. That excuse me, it's been a long day, I'm tired. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I saw, the first time I saw them was at Pop's Nightlife over in Sauget, Illinois. And then I went to Springfield, Missouri to see them. Actually, I've been to Sauget a couple of times to see them. They toured with Mushroom Head, Dope, Static X, Sunflower Dead, and whatever that second band is, you know, the chick Jackie that sings for Mushroom Head part-time. Well, she's got her own band, but I can't remember the name of that band. And they were at that show as well. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Death Division was there too. So it was a pretty good show. It was like 5 bands the first time I saw them play. Do I ever listen to Blood? I can't say that I have. Are they like thrash metal, or are they speed metal, or black metal? What kind of? I mean, it sounds like to me a metal band, right? I can't say I've ever heard of them. I got a pretty good range of, you know, variety of stuff that I listen to. Of course, I grew up on, you know, bands like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Pink Floyd and stuff like that. I always used to tell my kids all the time, you know, you got like the coolest dad in the world, because I could introduce them to all kinds of different music, you know, stuff that I grew up on. And as the times changed and, you know, modern music started, you know, rolling out, you know, I was there for, you know, the 80s hair bands and the, you know, pop music in the 80s, and the beginning of rap, you know, old school stuff, and, you know, then the metal, the heavy metal with, you know, like Megadeth and Metallica and bands like that, and then on up into the 90s, you know. So I've got the Christian metal, Blood Good. You know, it seems to me I have heard of a band called Blood Good or something to that effect. And there's nothing wrong with being a Christian metalhead. You know, I saw a band back in the 80s called Striper. They were like, you know, people kind of frowned on them because they were a Christian band. But I always thought they were really good. You know, they still together. I know they just did an album a few years ago. They were on tour. Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to check out this Blood Good band. Are they like just strictly metal, or are they screamo, or what? Anyway, I'm playing Tool right now on the radio. I got to kind of try and keep this music down because, well, YouTube likes to tell me that I'm using copyrighted material. You know, and I always thought that, you know, like when I'm listening to music and I'm talking to people, or I'm just riding along, you know, they tell me that I'm using copyrighted material, but they tell me who it's copyrighted by, and half the time it's not even like the music companies or anything, or the production companies. It's individuals who claim the rights to that song. I don't get it, really. But I always thought, if you used like a song and it was less than a minute long, that you were allowed up to a minute without being, having any kind of repercussions or anything. So that comes under what they call the Fair Use Act. Like, I've had videos that I've done on long trips and been talking, and the music would come on in the background, but I'm just listening to the radio. And it's not like, I really planned that for that song to come on. I'm not being monetized at all. It's not like I get on here and play other people's music for money. I don't do that. I can't help, if I'm listening to the radio, it's annoying as hell. Because I don't have any control of what's on the radio. And then they want to tell me, I've used copyrighted material. Like, it would be different if I decided I was going to get on the radio and listen to somebody's album, or on the live feed and listen to somebody's album where, you could hear it in the background or whatever, but I'm still talking. It's different than that, because I would have control over that, but I don't have any control over what. Yeah, I know I'm buffering. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mario. I'm in a part of my town where this happens. I should have gone the other way. I actually have a couple of different ways that I ride to go home, and I took the long way today. Yeah. And usually when I go across the Missouri River Bridge, which is about 1.5 miles behind me now, it buffers real bad for about 30 seconds, and then it comes back. And I don't know how long it took it this time, but that's generally par for course. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, man. YouTube and these freaking sites that if you really can't help but to play somebody's other music, why do they penalize you for it? I've got some really good videos that I did that were long, and I was talking about things that were interesting, but being that that copyright thing came up. Hey, what's up, batshit crazy? What's up? Good to see you in there. Been talking to Mario about music and stuff today. Had a pretty good conversation going on. We've been discussing, YouTube and their policies with copyrighted material, and half the claims, half the time aren't even the production companies or the music companies or anything like that. My voice is weak today. It's Mario. That's right. Marlo. Oh, Marlo. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm reading from a distance here. I can't really see. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. You can give me some demerits for that. No worries. Yeah, I've mispronounced quite a few names on here. I'm bad with names. I'm great with faces, but with the small writing, and I'm trying to drive to it, makes it kind of difficult. So I try not to look down here too much. I try to keep my vision, out there, so I can see what the hell's going on. Yeah, watch the road. That's right. Like on their phones, and they're watching. I go to work at like 5:15 in the morning. I leave my house, usually around that time anyway. And I drive down Interstate 70 going west towards Kansas City. Now I'm nowhere near Kansas City, but just to give you an idea, where I drive to. I drive from like across the river bridge, and then like I'm headed to Kansas City. Only I don't go that far. And I see people every day, on their phones, having conversations with people, or they're watching movies, or there's some of them I've seen that are yelling at their phones, as they're going down the road. So it's a real trip. But yeah, like I said, I try not to look at the phone too much, unless like right now there's nobody around me. So I would glance down at this, at this point, see if I had any comments or anything. But I'm usually on about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. I've been on for 27 minutes right now. I still got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles before I get home. And I like going this way because there's less traffic, and, there's not so many idiots going this way as there are on Interstate 70. I don't know, excuse me, where you guys and girls are from, but Interstate 70 is crazy. It's kind of like, what's for dinner? I don't know what's for dinner tonight. I had chicken fajita soup last night. Man, that was some good shit too. Matter of fact, I got a bowl I'm going to take to work tomorrow for lunch. I may have chili and hot dogs tonight. We got these natural beef hot dogs, and I cut them up and slice them, and then I take chili. It's homemade chili. My girl makes it, and that does say Marlowe, doesn't it? I'm sorry. But anyway, so she makes homemade chili, so then I take these hot dogs, and all beef hot dogs, and I cut them up in little chunks, and I put them in there and warm it up for a couple minutes in the microwave, and I get some crackers or some tortilla chips and put a little cheese on it, sour cream, stuff like that, and give it a little flavor, and I'm good to go. But that might be what it is tonight. I'm not really sure. I never know until I get home. Sometimes we eat out, she'll order pizza, or a couple nights ago we went to Jimmy John's. So, it just kind of depends on the mood and what day it is. Some days I don't feel like cooking. Some days she doesn't feel like cooking, so we go out, or we, order in, one of the two. Tomorrow night, though, we're going to a place. We're going to Bob Evans. We've got a bunch of people that we meet like once a month. A bunch of people from a church we used to go to. They disbanded the church because the Catholics, there's a lot of Catholic parishes closing over the last few years, and I don't know if that's because of all the controversial stuff, that's going on in the Vatican, or within the the confines of the church or parish walls or whatever. But so they've closed a lot of the parishes around here. It's like people just, they can't get butts in the seats anymore, and it's really sad that that happens. But we're not going to get into that because I don't really like talking about politics or religion. Those are two things that I don't have any interest in talking about. Too many people have, I don't know, friendships have split up, and girlfriend and boyfriend split up, and broken up families, and it's destroyed workplaces and things like that. So politics and religion I try to stay away from. Of course, now I say that every time I do one of these videos, because I want this to be kind of a comfortable place for people to come watch. You know what I mean? I want people to have, somebody like me, well, not necessarily me, but somebody like me that can talk about things that other people aren't talking about. So I talk about, real life things. I talk about my day. I talk about, like what I did over the weekend or what I did in the evening, or I've talked some about, like my childhood and things that I went through as a kid. I don't like to do that a whole lot though, because some things are just better left unsaid. So I try not to focus on that too much. But I don't know. I just like talking and people listen. It's not. I don't have an ego or anything like that. It's not. I'm not like one of these attention grabbers or attention starved or whatever. I get plenty of attention at work and at home. But it's always nice to meet new people and share my experiences with people, and hopefully from time to time somebody else's experiences or some of the things they're going through, my experience can help them with what they're going through, because nobody than somebody who's been there, done that. I don't like to say that I've been there, done that, but there are a lot of things in life that people have experienced from time to time that I have too, and unfortunately, some people these days don't know how to deal with that stuff, and I've already been through it, so I'm more likely to be able to help somebody than somebody that's going in blind, so to speak. I guess I lost Marlo. I don't know where she went, if that is a her. Sounds like a good lady. Yeah, she's a good lady, Marlo. I enjoy having her in my life a whole lot. I really do. She told me last week, I don't know, I guess she was kind of, her brother passed away recently, and she was kind of upset about it, as, to be expected. And we were sitting on the couch, and I asked her what was wrong, and she says, sometimes I just don't think you care about me anymore as much as you did. And it kind of threw me, because that's not something that she would normally say, it kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you. But I had to make sure that she knows that right now she's like the most important person in my life, and has been for many years. I got nobody watching. I don't know what happened to Marlo. Maybe Marlo's decided to head on down the road or whatever. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm about a mile from my house. I've been on 35 minutes now, so I'll be on a few more. That's about the average for me, being online or being on a live video. It's usually around 30 to 35 minutes, or well, I do go on like 40 or 45 minutes sometimes if if there's people responding and I have a good conversation going in my live feed. Then sometimes I'll talk about more, or I'll keep the conversation going if it's really interesting. I don't know what it is here, like the past, a couple of weeks, I guess. It's like the longer I talk, the weaker my voice gets. But I don't have anything to drink. I think that's what it is. I just need something to drink. Well, that's going to smell good in the morning. The dead skunk in the road back there. Yuck. Ugh. Woo, good God Almighty. That's not a good smell. Yeah, anyway. I hate it. These skunks, when they hit them in the road, it's like that's all you smell. It takes a second to get in your car, but once it does, oh my God. And you gotta roll down the windows and air it out and all that good stuff. Yeah, So I'm almost home. Yay. So I'll be doing it 10 hours tomorrow. Well, maybe 9 tomorrow. I don't know. It just really kind of depends. I've got this dinner that I have to go to tomorrow at 5:30, and just a bunch of church people hanging out together. But we're going to be at Bob Evans. I like Bob Evans food. You know, it's like the closest to a home meal you can get without actually being at home. Of course, Denny's, I like Denny's too. The old, you know, and Cracker Barrel and places like that. Those are really good places to eat. But anyway, folks, okay, so I've been on 36 minutes. I've lost my audience. There's nobody on, so I'm going to say top of the day to you. You guys, remember, I'll be back Wednesday around the same time. Well, actually, a half hour earlier. So around, say, I'll be back around 4:30 on Wednesday to do another installment of What's Jim Talking About Today. I just had somebody come in. I don't know who it is, but top of the evening to you. I thank you for stopping in, and I thank you for leaving, because I'm getting out of here too. Anyway, you guys take it easy. I'll talk to you again soon.